All right, this is a pre-show of the pre-show. What's going? Oh shit.
Pre-show.
No. So it's a live show, guys. We're going live. So anybody who's listening to this later in a podcast, whatever, we're having a really great conversation. I wanted to continue it live. And that we were talking about video stores. So you were saying that when Hollywood Video moved into your town, Blockbuster shut down.
In New York, I live in upstate New York, the capital region near Albany. I live in Schenectady. Hollywood, so we had Blockbuster. Hollywood Video came, then Blockbuster just faded away. Then all the little mama and papa shops streaming came, the Netflix and shit. Then they started dying. So that's so Hollywood Video was around for a while.
I preferred Hollywood Video.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
I agree.
I think they had the better horror movie.
There's still one Blockbuster in Alaska, right?
No, it's in Oregon. Bend, Oregon. That's actually where this one's from.
Oh,
my original one is up in my wallet, my Blockbuster card. This one,
I thought someone said it was in Alaska for some reason.
Bend, Oregon.
Oh,
that's Blockbuster.
Nice.
Yeah, so they sent me that.
In Michigan, we had Family Video, and it's kind of a regional one, but it was pretty big, and they stuck around for so we had a Family Video as recent as 2 years ago.
Yeah, here too. I think
I want to go to that video. I wouldn't go there. Just because they're lazy on
back
the
room.
name.
They still had the back room that you could go through with the beads and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the doll.
Yeah. But Family Video to me, it was like, that's all. We didn't have a Blockbuster. I didn't enjoy Blockbuster until I was in college and I moved to Grand Rapids. Before it was Family Video, though, we had a place called Cablevision, and they also supplied cable to people and rented out VHS. And we would go there, and they had 9 different shelves. That was it. They had 9 shelves of VHS, but they were all deep cut. There was no, like, they didn't get the new rental of the week or whatever. It was all deep cuts. And so until I was about 11, I had a pretty eclectic selection of VHS that I could rent from. In fact, that's how, so you guys were talking about Robot Jacks earlier in the group chat. That's where I found Robot Jacks, and I'll show you, like.
Nice. Yeah, dude. To add to that too, in my town, we had this little place called Premier Video, and like, they would have all the different sections, VHS tapes, like lined up, and you could go through and just pick out and look at all the boxes, right? And they would, during the summers, they would do $1 rental on old movies.
Oh, no.
So every day, if like I had $3, I was getting 3 movies, and I would go home and I'd watch them, and I'd come back the next day and get as many as I could. And dude, let me tell you, that is where I got my education. I started with horror, and then like it just like was just all the way down, and like I always loved going there, and like you had your own little movie curators behind a desk telling you should try this, check this out. It was just always felt so good, really.
We had a place called Star Video that I'd go rent the 5 for 5 for 5. And that's when I started my horror marathons, because you'd rent the 5 Friday the 13th, watch them, go back and get the other 3, and grab the last 2 Nightmare on Elm Streets. Dude, I miss the video store so much, and the video store element started to change with DVD. But I miss it. Like, somebody asked me what I would do if I could go back in time. The first thing I would do is walk into a video store. I know it sounds awful, but it's just
I get it.
Something that can't be replicated these days. Like, we do it on podcasts to an extent, but there's just something about walking into that store and just browsing.
It was fun, because you didn't know. It's like you just look around. You're like, wow. You don't know where to go. You're like, what section you want to go to.
It did. It felt like a candy store for all movie fans. So like, I mean, I remember, just as a kid, like it just like, especially Hollywood Video. All right. Hollywood Video. I love their choices in like candies, and it just always seemed sort of off. Like it was Red Vines, not Twizzlers, or it was just all that little stuff.
Like
some of my favorite snacks. Like, remember the chocolate covered cookie dough?
Yep.
Oh, what were they called? I know you're talking about.
Cookie dough on the front. I think it literally.
I think it had
like
a
a
name.
blue and white box, wasn't it, Mick? Like a blue
I think so.
Box?
No, I think it was like red with like yellow and blue. Yeah,
like,
I don't remember. Like it might have been. It might have been a regional.
I lived right behind Blockbuster for 2 years in Grand Rapids, like literally right behind it. They must have lost an immense amount of money on me when they introduced you could go in with your membership card and just rent. And it was like you played a flat fee, for everything. I would go in twice a day, and I lived right behind them. And so for me, I would like go to class, come home, grab a movie, go watch the movie. And then if I wasn't done for the night, I just walk back the, 2.5 5 feet that it was and like rent more. And the same thing, they allowed me to do video games, and they'd like, do you guys remember when they opened the video games portion of the store?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Game
yeah.
Crazy. Remember it was called Game Crazy in Hollywood Video?
Yeah.
Oh, it was cool how they set it up too. It
Yeah.
was really well done.
It's weird that we're talking nostalgic about Blockbuster, because at the time I was almost like trying to take them for as much money as I could, because it bothered me they put mom and pop places out of business. But now, I mean, we're lamenting for Blockbuster because we don't have anything.
What pissed me off about Blockbuster is when you forget to rewind the tape and they charge you a fee.
Everybody did,
Be
though, back in the
kind,
day.
rewind.
Yeah, be kind to rewind.
Those immortal words we came to know every time we pulled out a cassette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, the thing is, if you got a tape that wasn't rewound, you'd be pissed.
Hey, 30, we're live.
Yeah, I was just letting you know.
No. Oh, yeah, we are. Cool.
But like I
I ditched him. I micked him.
Mhm.
I didn't want him to
like
die
for his
on
own
his
benefit, I think. Yeah.
drinking his water. I don't want him to die.
Yeah, well,
Come on, come up
But
here. Come up here. I'll pat you on the back.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you for talking about that. We were just having a fun conversation about it, and it just got me thinking about video stores. I wanted to reminisce. I was like, fuck it, let's just go live, talk about the stuff, have some fun time. I do want to point out, I still think it could be done, and I still think if movie theaters had done it, like they do it. There are some movie theaters that do it. Down in Raleigh, their Alamo has like a little video store, but it's not a video store. It's a store where you can go, and it has like some of those really fun horror titles, stuff like that, and like Alamo memorabilia. But I'm talking about an actual, like it would be even better if the movie theater was in like a complex and could like rent out another spot for the video store. You know what I mean? Like that is the sort of thing. Cause like, I really think that getting that, putting that there and allowing people to have that type of feel of like going into a video store again. We are at that point where we're seeing so many other businesses kind of pop up from the past again.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean-
right now, I mean, you think about video, and yes, corporate video stores are being talked about again. And that's good because the video store would exist. But I think the future of really good video Blu-ray stores, I mean, really going after the collectors, out of necessity, once corporate America starts going vinyl, which they already are, you have these independent record stores that expand into having both. And that was a very common thing in New York City. Places like Kim's and things like that. You know, your first floor was music, and then your second floor was crazy, wild videos you could find nowhere else. I'd like to see that as the recipe.
See, that's my biggest argument sometimes too, is like, especially with the adoption of video stores, where a lot of the times it's remembered as like this place where horror and sci-fi or like really weird things could be found. And I am all for it. The underground was always great, and the underground will exist again if you bring video stores back. And that's what I love too. But like for me, it's like we got to expose everybody to everything, because there's a lot of people that masterpieces are being lost in time, in my opinion. That like I go back and I think about, and I'm just like, nobody talks about this movie. Like Spartacus was one of the biggest movies of all time, and
It's
nobody
a Kubrick film. I mean,
yeah. So
It's I think that what has to happen is you have to have local people. So I think about my local record store, right? They sign local people to come in and record because they have a recording studio in their actual store, and they put their stuff out on cassette, CD, and vinyl, and they bring local artists in. So what you would need to do, almost like, so Mick, you've seen the pictures from that theater I went to in Clare. That's super old school. They don't have an affiliation. They're not a Regal. They're not Cinemark. They're not any of that. They are just whatever the Clare Theater is. You got to have somebody like that who is a passionate, dedicated member of this community who says, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's got to be, I've always had this idea for a bar called My Best Friend's Basement. Like, how many of us when we were 16 would all congregate in that one guy's basement? I mean, it's like that 70s show. The only show that was, even though set in the 70s, was about the 90s, right? We all went to that one guy's house, went to their basement, and that's what we did. And like, so you got to make it this social thing for people that are Xers and early millennials who did this stuff, and it's a one-stop shop. You know, you have like your physical media space, you have something where it's reminiscent and feels like that kind of nostalgic thing that we had, and it's a theater. But to be frank, like I've also heard that we should be our old people's homes should be like in malls, and I don't disagree with that either.
Okay, well, before we go any further on that, we do got to get the show started. So I'm going to take everybody out, and we're going to get the show started. Everybody, thanks for joining in tonight. Let's get ready.